Welcome to Demo Jam. This is Frank Misak. I am a systems architect with SLED for the Michigan, Ohio team. And today we're going to be talking about a couple of different fabric in a box scenarios.
What's in the box?
Leveraged with Cisco Catalyst Center. The first scenario we're going to talk about and demonstrate is fabrics that use BGP. And the second one is going to be using Lisp pub sub. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. In our demo, we'll be using a single Catalyst 9300 and creating an entire automated fabric, including implementing the control plane, border, and edge node functions with a few clicks. We will also be firing up an embedded WLC for site wireless as well. In this first scenario, we'll be creating fabric in a box using Lisp and BGP as the control plane. Lisp and BGP are used as a transport to propagate prefixes between the control plane nodes and the border nodes. For our first demo, we're going to do fabric in a box leveraging BGP. So we're going to click the hamburger menu, go to Provision, SD Access, and Fabric Sites. We're going to select site SF011. And at this site, there is a 9300 switch that we're going to leverage as the fabric in a box and combine different functionality, including border node, which we're going to enable first. So we click there, we click Enable Layer 3 Handoff, and then we're going to choose BGP Transit as the transit site. We click Add. From here, we're going to enable the control plane feature. And as the control plane, we're going to leverage Lisp BGP. So click Add. We're going to also create and turn on as an edge node. We're also going to turn on embedded wireless, so the WLC. You can see that the Catalyst 9800 was successfully activated. We'll close that, click Next. We're going to take the defaults here because we can always come back and tweak wireless at a later date. We're going to go ahead and click Add again. And then we're going to click Deploy. And at this point, you can change the name. You can leave the task name as the default. We're just going to call this Do It, just to show that we can create a custom name for this if we've got multiple things going. And once this task is complete, we will see that this node now has functionality as a border node, control plane node, an edge node, and wireless controller. In this second fabric in a box demonstration, we will be leveraging a newer and arguably more efficient control plane using Lisp Publish Subscribe. This method is configured very similarly to Lisp BGP, however it does require that the fabric in a box node is running iOS XE version 17.6 or later. Lisp pub sub uses native Lisp and no longer has the requirement for BGP to propagate prefixes. It also negates the need for mutual redistribution of BGP and Lisp, which reduces complexity and increases simplicity. For demo number 2, we are going to look at Lisp pub sub as the control plane. So once we get logged into DNA Center, this will look very similar to the first scenario that we did with BGP. We'll go to the hamburger menu, Provision, we'll go to SD Access, Fabric Sites. We're actually going to leverage the same site that we did before, just in a different manner, and this will be SF011. From this point, we're going to pick that same 9300 switch. We're going to first enable it as a border node. We're going to enable Layer 3 Handoff, just like we did before. But this time, as the transit site, we're actually going to use this Lisp pub sub transit. So we'll go ahead and click Add. From here, we're going to enable it as a control plane node. And then this time, we're going to use Lisp pub sub as a control plane. Click Add again. We're going to turn it on as an edge node. And once again, we're also going to turn on the WLC. So we should get a success, which we do. The 9800 controller is good to go. We can close here and click Next. Again, taking the defaults for wireless for now. Click Save. At this point, we can go ahead and click Add again. And then the last thing we need to do is click Deploy. And again, if you want to modify the task name, you can. Click Apply, take the default. That task has been submitted. And when you get the success, we've actually created another fabric in a box on a single node with a border node, control plane, edge node, and WLC all turned up on a single 9300. For the propeller heads and folks who need their command line Whoopee, there are ways to verify what is happening in the GUI by going directly to the device. From Catalyst Center, we can go to Configuration and see what is actually configured on this 9300 switch. From here, we can also select the More drop-down to see additional tools such as Compliance and Config Drift. We can also run live commands. In this particular case, the demo environment doesn't allow for a full set of commands. However, if we issue a show running config command, we can see in the output where Lisp has been configured, as well as IS by Cisco Catalyst Center. You could certainly run this before and after configuring Fabric in a box as a good way to compare. We can also choose to export the command line output from this interface as well. In closing, Cisco Fabric in a Box can be an extremely effective and efficient way to deploy a software-defined access fabric for smaller sites. Obviously, pay attention to the sizing and configuration guides to ensure a customer's site fits within the guidelines for this solution.